Hello, hello, and congratulations. Come, we're gonna sit.
That was a really long walk. Thank you.
We gotta get our steps in.
Oh, wow. Hi, everyone. A lot of people.
So many questions about this. You are a very, very busy person in this industry. You have a lot of wonderful things going on, and I'm sure there's so many wonderful opportunities that come your way. When the Sweetpea opportunity first kind of, came across your desk, what was it about it that made you think, like, I need to have this in my life right now as an artist who is always evolving my craft?
Good question. It was two things. It was, first of all, the way they pitched it to me was, we want to tell the story about a female serial killer, and it's going to be a comedy. Immediately, I was like, yes, I'm in. And then they said, and we really want to make the audience feel confused. We want to conflict the audience and try to get them to relate to Rhiannon's emotions, her motivations, obviously not her actions. And that seems difficult, and therefore I wanted to do it. And also to be an executive producer, which is something I've wanted to do for such a long time. And I really was holding out for the right projects. I wanted to find something that I really felt like I could do a good job. Like, I wanted to be able to contribute properly. I didn't just want a credit. I wanted to actually, build the show. And they let me do it.
That's a big deal, and it's something we should celebrate right now. I am curious, what is something you have seen a producer do on a past show that you have really appreciated, back-pocketed, and now applied to your own work as a producer on Sweetpea?
That is a really, I expect nothing less from you, Perry, but great questions. So many things. I've been lucky enough to work with so many.
Comic-Con brain. We're all on the same page right now.
Everyone's feeling it. No, I've been lucky enough to work with so many amazing people. I'd say first and foremost, the biggest lesson is how important it is to create a safe set, how important it is to advocate for each other and look after your crew, gosh. And also, the subject matter is heavy. There's a lot of big themes in this show, and you guys, I think you just watched one episode, but it gets worse and better in ways. So it was important that we had a safe set, and we had therapy for anyone, free therapy for anybody that needed it. We had mental health resources. We had a lot of things there to support the crew. It's also it's different doing a British show. It's my first time doing a British show in a really, really, really long time. And so it's kind of nice to remember that, I don't know, I think there is a bit more of an emphasis on like capping the amount of hours that you can work, and there's a lot more rules and regulations around, the knife stuff and the stunts that we had to do. And so just kind of taking all of that into account from a safety perspective was really important to us.
Oh, I have some questions about that as well. But first, I wanted to bring up a question that it first came to my mind when you were on Ladies' Night for Fallout. And in all honesty, I've asked this question to quite a few people since, because I love the thought. You were explaining to me how one of the coolest but most nerve-wracking things about starting a new project is jumping into a new character, feeling like you're on unstable ground, but having that moment when you do something and you have just found your character. Did you have that here with Rhiannon, and if so, when?
I did. Actually, funnily enough, with this one, it kind of kept coming and going and coming and going. I still don't really feel like I'm under stable ground, but I think that might be because I've never, ever, ever understood a character so deeply. This was so challenging for me. This was the hardest thing I've ever done. It's the hardest character I've ever had to play. And it's also the first time I've played someone so morally complicated. It's not like Arcane, where she's the villain of the show. I understand that. And there's still things that we empathize with her about. This is different. This is like you're getting inside the mind of a serial killer. Like, how do you begin to do that? How do you begin to reckon with, how can someone do that, really? And it was hard. And I was lucky enough to come onto this project, a year before we started filming. I was in the writer's room. I created the series outline. I gave feedback on the scripts, all of that stuff. So I felt like the whole way I was putting in the building blocks for making this character. Also, I have to say, Ella Jones, who is our director, is I think, my creative soulmate. Like, truly one of the coolest, fiercest, smartest, most talented people I've ever met in my life. And she and I have this sort of, at this point, like, I'm pretty sure if all sound was to, like, cease to exist, we could still understand each other. I feel like we can communicate telepathically. We're, like, so on the same page. And you never get to do that when you're just an actor and you're not a producer and you come onto something. Like, you may always just have a different understanding of your character from the people that created the character. They're just different versions. And on this, we were all so clear and so aligned. And it was really important to tell the story the way we wanted to, that you're in Rhiannon's head the whole way. You should be able to, like, feel what she's thinking, even when she's not talking. So I forgot your question, but I said words.
No, but you truly did answer the question, and the words were very meaningful. This is a really big question that might not have a simple answer, but given the fact that you want us to be in her head, and she is the protagonist of the show, but she is a protagonist who is doing bad things, what is the key to making sure you always have a connection to the audience and they're with her, but you're also always holding her accountable for what she does?
Yeah, it's really, that's really hard. And to be honest, a lot of it is in the editing. A lot of what we did was we didn't always, we tried to plan as much as we could, and we did do a lot of talking, a lot of rehearsals, all of which were really essential. But then there was a lot of things we didn't decide. We didn't know the answer. Is it this or is it that? And so we filmed them all. And it kind of came together in the edit. This show could have gone probably a million different ways, sort of like a choose your own adventure situation in the edit, and Ella really kind of had to make those executive decisions.
Oh, I don't know if you remember this so specifically, but can you give us an example of maybe something from episode 1 where you did two polar opposite things on set and had to just, like, wait and see which route it went?
Good question. We've seen episode 1, Tink. We did this, right?
Yes.
Tink? Okay, cool.
Tink.
I was like, well, am I about to spoil the show? No, Tink, the reveal of that. Oof, I know, heavy. I'm so sorry. I tried to fight it. I really did, and they weren't having it. They were like, Tink has to go. I was like, okay, fine. I know.
There was a
I'm
version
so
where she
sorry.
didn't go.
No, not that.
Oh,
No.
okay.
She was always gonna go. Sorry, but Rhiannon's reaction to it was, there was a version which was just like numb, completely numb, and then there was a very, very angry version, and then there was a very emotional version, the kind of thing you'd probably picture when you read the script, and she's crying, it's very emotional. And the numb version just felt like a little too serial killer. Because also, Rhiannon is not a psychopath because she feels empathy, which is something psychopaths they're not capable of feeling. She is definitely a sociopath, and there's probably a lot of other things going on there. But that, it's very important that you feel in that moment that Tink was really, aside from the house, the last thing Rhiannon had. And she's so lonely in that moment. And then when you cut it together, it really makes sense that that's her motivation for going to SQR, the club. It's blaming Julia. It's turning around and being like, this is your fault, even though it's not. Julia didn't kill her dog. It feels like she did.
Oh, I'm gonna come back to that relationship in a second, but like, again, we've emphasized, like, this is some heavy material here, a dark headspace to be in. What is something you like to do when working on a story like this to practice self-care, to know that you could really go for it, but also come out okay on the other side at the end of a shooting day?
Totally. I love that question, and it's really important to me. On this set in particular, we really did have a lot of fun. It sounds really bad, but I think you really have to, because it's heavy, it's hard, and I knew going into this that it's a show about trauma, lots of people's trauma, lots of different types of trauma, that it was going to be hard to be in that place for 6 months every day with so much anger and rage and loneliness and tension, even physically holding that tension in your body, like, oh, it hurts your neck if you feel it. So in between setups, I got really close with the crew, and we played a lot of games. Do you play Conkers over here? You play Conkers?
No, what is that?
It's so stupid now I think about it. You drill a hole in a conker. Oh, got it. Oh, okay. You don't have conkers?
What is a
It's like I don't even know. What is it? They grow on trees. Chestnuts. You call them chestnuts. A chestnut actually might be a conker. I don't know, please. I'm going to get cancelled because I don't know. I don't know the difference between a chestnut and a conker.
Everybody in this room is going to be Googling this thing after
I
this
don't
panel.
know. I'm very tired. Anyway, you drill a hole in a chestnut or a conker. You could probably do both. And then you put a piece of string through it, and then you hit each other's chestnut conkers. You hit them and you try to break them. It's very violent, but very fun.
I totally thought you were going to say, like, yeah, we play Scrabble between takes or something.
The more I describe the game of conkers, the more unhinged British people sound.
Hey, maybe that's what we need on more Hollywood-based sets, so we're all more relaxed and in better mind frames. I feel like the next time I get stressed, I'm going to try to tap into this game.
But you're going to sound crazy when you pitch that game.
I mean, it's
for other
fine.
people.
If
Be
I
like,
don't
"Guys,
sound
let's
crazy
drill
for
into
that
chestnuts."
reason, it'll be something else.
Anyway, so we did that. It's not really self-care, but I do think having a laugh and alleviating tension, and also just like making sure I didn't isolate, like talking about it, and like you can get really stuck in your own head, and me like coming off set and being like, whew, that's hard, guys, I feel weird, and just like speaking it out, I think helps move emotions like out of your body. It takes away their power, actually, I think is what it does.
That makes sense. So you have that technique, you have your game. You're also surrounded by so many wonderful people. And I know you just brought up Ella, but I wanted to focus on two particular co-stars. I want to begin with Nicole here to highlight her work because I will tell you all, we have only just scratched the surface of this story. Wait until you see more. Can you tell me something about her as a scene partner that you appreciated and helped you reach something in your own character that you wouldn't have been able to without her?
Ooh, so Nicole is an amazing writer. She created a show called Mood, which I think she wrote, starred in, and then also composed all the music for. She's incredible. I think she won a BAFTA for it. In fact, I know she won a BAFTA for it. She's incredibly talented. So it was amazing to get to speak to her just about her experience off camera, moments where I maybe was struggling to balance the role of actor and producer, and talking to her about that, talking about writing, because I'm writing as well at the moment, and just like such a well-rounded person who wears so many different hats. So getting to learn from her actually about that is amazing. But also, she brought this, I got to do chemistry tests with all of the cast before we started filming, which is such a luxury, and you never get to do that really. And the minute Nicole walked in, she just had this air of like this woman is important. I can't describe it. It's an energy, and not in a bad way, in a good way. In a way that was like, that's Julia, but not in a bad way. Really not making this sound good, but it's true. But she still brought so much humanity to Julia, where the only reason that you kind of get to explore the theme of Rhiannon potentially being an unreliable, biased narrator is because of Julia, because you get that insight through seeing that maybe Rhiannon's version of events, or maybe Rhiannon's moral code around people just being good or just being bad, that's challenged just by Nicole's performance.
You two are so good together. There's someone else that I wanted to highlight, and I don't believe we saw their performance in episode 1. It's Leah.
Yes.
My God, that is an example of an actor who steps on screen and immediately just like oozes screen presence. You can't take your eyes off of them. Can you tell me a little bit about collaborating with them, and maybe during that chemistry read, what you saw in them that made you say, like, yes, you are perfect for this role? And maybe also tease what the role is.
Yeah.
Haven't met the character yet.
Well, now I'm remembering I actually didn't do a chemistry read with Leah. Leah came on quite late because we really struggled to fill that part. So Leah plays Marina, who is the police officer that is kind of on Rhiannon. What can I say? That they have similarities, which is a really fun and interesting thing to explore. Two people very much on opposite sides of the law. And they are a fantastic actor. One of my favorite, top 3 definitely, one of my favorite scenes in the whole show is the opening scene in episode 6. I'm not going to spoil it, but Marina and Rhiannon have a intense conversation, a showdown, shall we say. And it's really good, and it's really intense because they swap positions. the power dynamic. Oh, it's really, really good. And that was all Leah. Leah came in with ideas that I had never thought about or considered, and really dictated how that scene was going to play.
Oh, we're so impressed. We have to wind down soon. You know I like this particular question. I end as many interviews as humanly possible with this question. So you've answered it before, but I do think it's an important thing to revisit with every project you do. Okay. I am a very big believer that a lot of people in this industry never tell themselves good job. We say it to each other, and that is super cool. They don't say it to themselves. I want to know something you accomplished making Sweetpea that you know you will always be able to look back on and say, I am so proud of what I did there.
Oh, I love this question so much, and it is so important to do that. Honestly, like a lot of things, really. I am really proud of myself for putting myself so far out of my comfort zone. And someone really agreed with what I said back there.
They're saying good job to you in the other room.
Yeah, thank you. Not being concerned with vanity was a really scary thing for me. And the emotional release that you see in the whole show, really, there's a lot of emotional scenes. That was really scary for me. And putting myself out of my comfort zone.
You should be so proud.
Stop it.
I need to further emphasize this. The show is so incredibly complex. It is not easy to make characters and dynamics work in a situation like this, as well as all of you do. So I was so wildly impressed by all of Sweetpea. Please go home and binge it ASAP. Ella, huge congratulations on Sweetpea Season 1. You should be so proud.
You're the best.
You're the best. Thank you all for coming out. Enjoy the rest of your Comic-Con.